Hey folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Thursday, April 8th, 2010. Well, folks, as we get into the day today, we can see clearly that the markets did continue their initial downward spiral from yesterday early in the morning for really the first half hour of the day. But by 10 o'clock, the volume started to die out and the markets just got propped up beautifully. Candle after candle here on the SPY 10-minute chart, you can see has marched higher throughout the day until the recent little pullback we're seeing here. But nonetheless, the markets started negative and are now positive on the day. We're not up by very much by any stretch of the imagination. What we're seeing here is the Dow up about 30 points, Nasdaq up about 3.5, and the S&P up about 3 on the day. So a very, very slight move to the upside in the markets. But again, the story of the day is the initial gap down and a little bit of selling that came in to move us lower than yesterday's lows. And again, yesterday was our first down day in quite some time, and really, again, probably one of the biggest down days we've had, only about 2/3 to 0.75%, but again, we have not had many of those in the last 2 months. Now, what are the key technicals showing on the charts? What was the news today? What were the keys that drove this market in the directions that it has gone? First of all, you have to look at jobless claims this morning. Jobless claims were reported this morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and they came in at 460,000. Now, again, that's rising 18,000 for last week from expectations of 442,000. So you can see jobless claims overall came in a little less than expected. However, many earnings announcements have come in over the last couple days from the retailers, and we had same-store sales this morning as well coming in very nicely. You can talk about Best Buy, BBY. Let me punch that chart up. Right there at the highs of the day, essentially up $1.70 on the day. Very, very nice move on Bed Bath Beyond, and also, you can take a look. Yesterday, we had FDO. FDO gapped up yesterday. Here you can see, and again, if you look at the daily chart, very, very strong move on the chart the last few days to the upside. Other charts that have come in and stocks that have come in with solid earnings, you can see Hot Topic. Hot Topic had a huge gap up. It has sold some of that gap, as you can see a big red candle here, but nonetheless, well above yesterday's close. This is where it closed yesterday. This is where it's currently trading. This is the high of the day up here. So you can see, again, it is off the highs, but still very, very strong. So again, the retailers really leading the markets today, along with the financials, and also you have ExxonMobil and some of the commodity stocks very, very strong. What commodity stocks are strong? Well, ExxonMobil, as I just mentioned, is the real winner today. Take a look at this chart on the intraday, flipping over to the intraday, and really this one is known as the leader of the markets. As you can see, it bottomed out right around 10 o'clock, and then look at that move up. Now, this stock is in the S&P and also in the Dow, so it's really a powerful mover here to the upside, and really actually has a lot of power to keep the markets up, especially in the Dow right now. Chevron's another one. Chevron, not quite as substantial a move today, but still a solid move across the board. And again, you can see a nice move from a gap down all the way up. And these are a lot of charts out there look like that. And you can see how a lot of the key stocks that look like that are driving forces behind the Dow or the S&P or even the Nasdaq. If we look at some stocks like Google or Amazon today, Amazon's having a huge day. Not surprising to see Amazon having a big day today. And if we take a look at the daily chart, I'll show you some levels to watch. But Amazon's having a big day today, basically on the back of those retail sales. All right, same-store sales and earnings. If a lot of these retailers are outperforming, people are thinking chances are Amazon is doing very, very well as well. So up $5.25 today. The key level you're going to watch on Amazon is coming right into play right here. And right in this range, you're just below it a little bit. This range is 141.25 to 142.50. Anywhere in this range, you should meet some very, very strong resistance on Amazon. All right, so keep an eye out for that. Now, what else do we have today? Well, as I mentioned, Goldman Sachs is having a good day. Financials having a good day. You can see Goldman over the last few days has really started to skyrocket and take off. In fact, you took out this little bit of a double top right here. See this little double top from this pivot to this pivot? We have broken that today. So short term, this could be a breakout depending on where Goldman Sachs closes today. Now, again, you don't want to buy the breakout here. What you want to do is watch for consolidation above the breakout line, and if it consolidates for a few days, then maybe it starts to look attractive to the upside. But just be very, very careful there because it's such an extended move. You have to expect a little bit of a pullback maybe in the next few days. Again, Goldman basically going from a price of 170, 169, now trading at 180. That's a $10 move in the last 3 or 4 days. Very, very big move on Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan is having a solid day today, although not nearly what Goldman Sachs is, but JPM up about 46 cents. That chart on Goldman Sachs, on JP Morgan's daily is a very, very impressive chart. Look at that. Going back to the February 5th low at 37, it's now trading at $46 or just underneath $46 per share. All right. Right now, Nasdaq again is hovering just slightly positive on the day, up about 4 and change. The markets are bouncing back from that little bit of a small pullback. We are seeing the Dow back up about 35.5 points, Nasdaq up 5, S&P up 3.5 now on the day. Now let's flip back to the SPY, talk some strategy on the afternoon session. This is the daily chart, but again, we're not going to go into what this means in any respect because again, that's for premium subscribers of the Research Center to go over tonight in the nightly video, along with oil, gold, the dollar, and a bunch of other stocks and plays. We'll discuss some swing trades and a other stuff like that tonight as well. One thing to note, folks, see this little white trend line sloping up here at the very bottom of my chart? If you scan back, you can clearly see, let me just bring that back here. I want to see, you can see it sloping down, and if we go back even further, this trend line really goes back quite a ways, as you can see, going all the way back to really late March and even to back or even further than that. This trend line, again, very, very important in the scheme of things. And again, you can see it curl up underneath this low on the 31st. And exactly, that's what we came into today. This is the low today, as you guys can see right there. That was the support line that you were looking for. It did hit that today. And again, we did not, or we will not confirm, as long as we don't close below this low today from yesterday, you will not confirm the move down. Therefore, you cannot anticipate any further downside in the markets overall. All right, so that is what we're seeing here. Let me just zoom in again. There we go. Right now, of interest, guys, what do you notice about the pivot high? Why would you know this was a pivot high possibly in the markets? Number one, first of all, you have the pink trend line here, but what if I were to tell you that there's another trend line that I'm going to draw on right now? See if you can spot it before I do it. All right, and I'm going to do it right now. Take this pivot high to this pivot high, and look at that. Perfect, guys. Couldn't be more perfect a trend line to tell you that you're going to have resistance right up here. Just connect the previous 2 days highs and look at the high today, matching beautifully up in that range. So right there, that's telling there's good resistance. You already hit it, so the next time up, you could break through it. If you break through that, you're going to go to yesterday's high, and if you take that out, you're going to go to the previous day's high at 119.20 to 119.25. So again, there's some interesting stuff going on in the charts. Markets are very strong today, although again, the volume is generally light. I have to say, 110 million traded here at around just before 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time is again on the light side. All right, now what else do we have? Yesterday we had a nice head and shoulder pattern that did play out. As you can see here, it's hard for me to, I'll have to zoom in to show it to you guys a little better, but right here, shoulder, head, shoulder, and then you played it out all the way down to the low today. And again, you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys. Let's see right there. All right, so there it is again. Let me just draw it in another line for everyone to see, because I do think it is important to look at these. There's your shoulder, there's your head, there's your shoulder, and then you completed it. Your neckline breakdown was right here. There's your completion of the move right down to this point. So again, if you recognized this yesterday, you had a good inkling that you were going to fall. Once you broke this line right here, that you were going to go all the way down to this 117.50, 117.60 level. Very key level on a head and shoulders completion right there. All right, these are just random patterns that I want to point out to you guys because I do think that they are important. Going over some other stocks, some small caps moving again today, but not as crazy as it's been. There's been some great small cap profits over the last few days in the chat room, even in the Research Center that we talked about. A couple other plays. I called out oil as a short play at $42.10 with a target of $41 or $40.90. And again, I'll just show it to you right here. Right here was my master level at $42.10. Nailed it perfectly, and today it hit target right there. Notice the 50 moving average. When it broke 41, again, I went back from a negative bias back into a neutral standing. And again, that was released in the hot charts and alerts for those of you that have the Research Center. Also, I gave that in the video a few nights ago when I went bearish on that. So again, a nice little call there on the USO. So just stay tuned, guys. There's a lot of good stuff going on in this market. Next week is going to get very, very wild because of earnings season. Alcoa Monday, Tuesday Intel, Wednesday JP Morgan, Thursday Google. I mean, these are just some of them that I'm throwing out right now, but it's going to create an insane amount of volatility in the market that should be very, very fun for us as traders or swing traders, even investors, for getting opportunities either to go long or short the market. Have a wonderful rest of the day, guys. Come join the Research Center to In the Money Stocks as well as the chat room. We'll see you there tonight. Take care.